All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Ernest Saves Christmas. 1988's Ernest Saves Christmas, Lee. Had you seen it before?
Yes.
This was one of my least favorite Ernest movies. As a child, because this one plays a lot every holiday. But then as I got older and they kept making Ernest movies, it kept rising up the ranks.
Okay, so you think it's at the low end of the golden era of Ernest?
This is the So this is probably like the fifth or fourth best Ernest movie.
It's certainly third for me, and I don't even know them all. Like you, I would consider myself to be a big Ernest fan, but you,
I love Ernest.
Dwarfed me in
because
Ernest.
So like this is the sequel to Ernest Goes to Camp, which is a banger. Like that is like a legit awesome movie. And then like this comes out and you're like, okay. And then like they kept going with these more things. Like the ones that are worse. Yeah, it's the second one.
I don't know.
The worst ones are like Ernest Goes to Africa, Ernest in the Army, Ernest Rides Again, Ernest Goes to School. Like those ones are lower tier. Like what felt more like direct to TV, like Slam Dunk Ernest is like the top of the bottom tier ones.
Yeah, but like Halloween and Jail are two.
Halloween, Jail, Christmas, and Camp are S tier.
Are the thing? Okay, cool, exactly. Yeah. No, I know those, and this features less of the Ernest stuff that I know and love. But now that I realize from you telling me that this is earlier, it's like, oh, they were still developing some of the shtick maybe, and they had to add things to it or something.
Yeah.
There we go. No, I like this movie kind of a lot, I think. It's a movie.
It's a great movie.
Okay.
As an adult watching it, I haven't watched it in quite a while because, again, like I'm not a big Christmas movie guy in general.
Yeah.
So, like, those are already like, I'll push that off because you get beaten by them for a month. Like, they're just hammering you with Christmas movies. So, like, have not seen it in a while. And now watching it again for the first time in probably like 10 years, I was like, oh, man, I love me some Ernest. I really need them to work on, like CG fucking Cordana, type, I need an Ernest that just follows me around, like, as my butler and stuff. Like, he's so good.
You can buy Ernest's soul for some Bitcoin. That's perfect.
Believe me, I would.
No, I don't know how much is nostalgia, but certain parts, like, got me. We'll get into that once we're discussing it in excruciating detail. But no, I think this and Scrooged and a few other ones are worthy of throwing on at Christmas, because it's like, it is a Christmas movie, but it's also not a Christmas. It's this weird thing going on. Like, I like it. It's Santa's real, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
Jim Varney, alive in my heart. All right, guys, so if you've seen it or don't care, falls over spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are to talk about the spoilers of Ernest Saves Christmas. Lee, let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
Ernest is a cartoon character, but is not limited in the same way that toons normally are. If you recall, canonically, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when he's sawing off the handcuffs, and he comes out of the handcuffs, you could have gotten out of those handcuffs at any time, and he goes, no, only when it was funny, right?
Sure.
Ernest, though, he can commit crimes. He can get like information that he needs for his own self-interest or whatever, and he's saving Christmas, so maybe the gods are favoring him.
Do you know what this means?
It really works.
It means the end of Christmas on this planet as we know it.
But he can turn into other people. Other people know he's turning into those people, and then when he snaps back, like he is he's one of those.
He's Loki.
All right, I yield.
He's one of those Marvel characters where, like, in their bio it says, well, he would be the most powerful creature ever, except he doesn't mess with the mortals or something, right? He's one of those like gods. He's too busy in his realm. But he'd be more powerful than even the great whatever. Yes. Okay.
I was always amazed as a child. I love when people do impressions and voices and characters and different costumes and stuff, and I think it's great. And as a kid, didn't question it at all. But as an adult, I'm like, well, where are those?
My good man, you are not Santa Claus.
I tell you I am.
Oh, no.
Am too.
Oh, no.
Am too.
Oh, no.
I am too, and you know it.
When did he change?
He pulls the costumes out of a pocket
that?
dimension, and people just believe he's that person, even if
or
they
less.
know who Ernest is.
Yeah.
Mrs. Brock, I'm sure he didn't know you were coming.
Don't side with him, honey. There's no future in it. Just tell me where he is.
I remember, so like, the character of, like, what is it, like his like Aunt Gertrude or whatever.
Is there a name for the lady?
I think they all have names, but I'm
like the lady in like light
crazy
green,
person.
who's like, my son can't whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think as a child, the first one I can mentally remember seeing her in was Goes to Jail.
When the
Yes.
ball chains ding ding.
The doctor told me I'd only have to wear these until after the surgery.
The small child in me goes, oh, he made this character because he had to hide these balls.
Yes.
But that character it predates that.
Which is more insane.
And he's like, I guess like schizophrenic or something, because in other movies he just cuts into those personalities, talking only to himself, not for any purpose. So here we have them displayed with distinct purpose. They are used, they are executed for maneuvers.
Yes.
Like, oh, I have to break Santa out of jail. I'm going to become this smimey guy. That's very funny. And like she's going to dress up too.
It's like when Magneto helps like take someone in the magnet bubble and they both fly somewhere.
Yeah.
How does he do? He took her with him. How does he do that?
Were you elected into office, or did you just buy your way in?
Isn't she a doll?
And it was convincing too.
Yes.
But she is a professional liar.
She's a little con artist.
So
Exactly.
that's all good.
So she's also, and like whatever species Ernest is, she's also one of them. She also
but
is
up
touched
until
by
this
the
point,
shining.
she has not really been good at lying at all. So like maybe it's just an under pressure thing. I can kind of get that. Like
when your nascent mutant powers are first, or his presence is like charging her and giving her the ability to go over the edge to actually physically transform.
But so yeah, they use their prowess, their outfits, their cunning to trick these people into not only believing their characters but the story.
The cops.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And I could almost understand that because nobody wants to fucking deal with the higher ups in any capacity, and they all get that like because he already got he got almost like a secondhand like how would you call that? Like confirmation by the other guy, because they're like, oh, it's a guy from the blah blah, because he talked to a lackey who takes less convincing, and the lackey is who talked to the boss, so he already went in believing, his psychic paperwork, and that he is who he says he is.
He like primed the boss to like see him as that person.
He said he was from the governor's office.
Great, that's just what I need today. Some know-nothing from the Capitol taking time out of his busy day to come down here and tell me how to run my... Hello, I'm Chief Spanks.
And people not wanting any shit to run onto their heads are like, oh yeah, he's crazy, take him to the nut house. We don't want to deal with him, whatever, okay.
Yeah, and you can't question it. When like, oh, this is like the mayor's daughter, I think he says. Like they can't be like, the mayor has a daughter, and they would have been like, how dare you question whatever.
You do not know the mayor's sweet daughter?
And even when they're taking old man Santa away, they do a thing where he's like, you call my boss and say that I'm transferring him. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Where like it's very upfront. It's on Front Street, if you will.
Yeah.
Where they must think, well, I'm not gonna fucking call that guy. What the fuck? And they do a whole thing or whatever.
Well, he's like, oh, don't put this in your report.
You two incompetents call my office and tell them that I'm taking this poor menace to society to the padded party room.
I'd hate for Uncle Herbert to have to see this.
Oh, don't tell him. The governor would make a throw rug out of this man's chest hair. Move it, Pops.
Oh, no, it's very well done.
I'll do you a favor and not report this to my superior.
Yes, and he happens to drive a truck that like makes sense to be the Snake character. You're like, yeah, that kind of is what that guy would have.
Me and old Vern are tighter than stretched duct tape. I guess you could say we're cut from the same bark. Know what I mean? Old Vern's done pretty good for himself, though.
Okay,
but
it all works.
But he also changes. He like a tooth disappears.
I got a truckload of snakes for them horror movie folk.
Yeah, he puts blackout stuff on it too.
He changes his whole jaw shape, and I was like, okay, this character's kind of weak. I see where, but then when he's like, I gave one to my boy, and he like takes off his hat. I was like, oh, and like the hair's made gray, and he's like, doing this whole thing. I was like, this is amazing. You're amazing.
You want one for you, boy? I gave one to my boy last year.
No, that's all right.
I cannot
love Ernest.
speak highly enough of Jim Varney. Like the man is such a great actor, and he's like a classically trained like thespian of an actor.
It makes sense.
Like no, I did one-man plays of Shakespeare and whatever. Like he's a real ass actor.
Most people don't know that he's British.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100% British. He is not British.
Already saying yeah. So good.
But he's like so good that when he does these things, you're like, oh yeah, like he's so committed, and that's what makes these bits good.
No, and like to do my usual old man thing, like this is the shtick that like a lot of stuff has or whatever. Oh, a guy is doing weird voices and shitty stuff, whatever. But like this feels like the original, and then you've made a copy of a copy of a copy, and that's what's like happening now. Where it's like, oh, you didn't even. There's no like when he's with Vern and he's tearing out the wall from the wire, and it's like.
You know, Vern, it looks like a transmutation of your 110 and your 220. You know what I mean?
Drywall plaster stuff is actually tearing out. In like a modern thing, they would have pulled on one and like a lamp would have shot over to the wall or something. It would have been gross. This, he's tearing the trail out of the wall and he's talking like, it's fine, don't worry about it. And he's putting all of his weight into it. You really feel it.
I'm not a fan of that part.
You hate that scene?
Just because it feels the least earnest.
Sure.
So like almost everything Ernest is doing, while he might bungle it and something like that would happen, in that I'm like, why is he even doing that?
It made me laugh so much I didn't
care. It just felt like he was just like, oh, we have a callback to like, hey Vern, like we're just destroying things for fun. Like it didn't feel like it was needed for the story.
Did it feel cruel to you at all? Like he's literally just destroying this stuff?
Well, I just feel like it doesn't paint Ernest in the light that Ernest deserves. Yeah. Ernest is a good character. He helps people. It might not always be executed in a way that is actually helping them, but his heart is always in the right place.
He makes mistakes.
And in this, it didn't. It felt like, oh, this will be funny. We'll do this.
It made me laugh. I have to say.
No, I'm not saying that it is not funny. I'm saying it doesn't do the character justice. It doesn't feel like something Ernest would do.
Yeah, because like the pattern, is like you're saying, is he doesn't implement things well.
Yeah.
And he's trying to, hey, I'm just trying to get you. Hey, like you're gonna miss your flight. I just don't want you to miss your flight.
So
and he just destroys this guy's whole
slapstick.
Psyche.
He is a master of that stuff. And the guy who was playing his like. His straight man there was perfect. Like him straight-bodied, head hit.
Yeah.
Come on, mister. This is no time to take a nap. You're gonna miss your flight.
Like carrying him, he's stiff.
Just a little extra service us independents have to do to keep up with the big guy, know what I mean? You forgot your carry-on. Here, you'll need a jacket.
Throwing him into the thing, like that was perfect slapstick. Him picking up Santa Claus and him leaning up to the camera like, as you'll see, I execute this maneuver by putting on my emergency blinker.
Even in emergency situations, always follow safe driving rules. You'll notice that I am using my emergency signal indicators when in reverse.
And like he stops in traffic, throws a fucking tree through the window.
Here, hold this a minute.
I was dying.
I was also dying at this scene because when he's backing up, like a part of it feels like, okay, this is a gross, not funny joke. But then cars are like hitting each other and all this stuff's happening. He's like, he does this little thing, and I'm like, oh, it's this little thing. He does this little thing.
He's so fucking funny.
It's
and
so good.
When the movies had, so like the direct drop off on the Ernest films is the amount of money they gave him to do the movies. So like the commitment on little bits like that, like they crashed like 7 cars for that little joke.
Yeah.
Like these little things are so fucking good. Like the reindeer, I have to believe they built a whole set upside down and just put reindeer there.
Yeah.
Like that's my guess as to how that was filmed. And that costs money, these little things. And every time they cut back to the reindeer, it's this perfect cut back where like there's a beautiful segue.
What are you gonna talk to him about? Flying reindeer?
Like, oh, how did he get there? Reindeer on the roof. Oh, like all these fucking.
Well, she's like, where are his reindeer? And then smash cut to like, I don't know, they're like goats or something.
Where's his sleigh? Where are his reindeer?
He's like doing his okay. I didn't like those cutbacks as much. I thought it like took away from it a little
bit. The segues were so good that I was fine with it.
So like those two guys, are they in every Ernest movie?
I think I hear something.
Is that a
They're
thing?
in most of the Ernest movies.
Every good Ernest movie, or whatever?
I think Bobby died.
So like the guy who doesn't talk, well, who talks?
He talks
less,
very minimally.
Bobby, right? I don't know the other guy's name, but they have a Bulk and Skull thing. They have a funny comedy thing.
He
reminds me of the bigger guy. Reminds me of the one from Beetlejuice.
Not so fast, brown boy. We're gonna have some laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they cut from that guy to to the other guy, because in my head I'm like, wait, do I remember this? Are these? Oh, there's two of them. What's the? And then it cuts to the other one. I was like, I know that guy. Like something about his face triggered me to have all these
I think
warm,
they are
nostalgic
the
moments.
chefs in camp. They're the security guards in Goes to Jail.
Oh, hi, fellas.
They are.
What about Scared Stupid?
They run the mart in Scared Stupid.
I was in charge of the Troll Destruction Unit. Have I got a deal for you?
And Ernest, you need this and that. You need Malik. And they have everything they need. You're fighting trolls, and they have marketed things that are all for whatever they need to sell because they're fucking shysters.
Does he do the eyes and everything?
The eyes are played up dramatically in this one, but there's always a little bit of eyes.
Made me feel bad, but I was like, okay.
I think they're great. I like their shtick, everything about these guys and them coming through. And I think they're especially the older guy, I think he's only in Ernest movies. I don't think he's in anything else. I'm not sure if we were Second City improv people together and I took him with me. I never actually looked into their shtick or whatnot.
That was some good fake backstory though.
But something like that.
We know Varney. I just felt it was it felt like it was padding the movie a little bit to me. I felt like
I will agree.
I wanted more of
it is padding
of a thing
because a lot of these are just one-off things that you need to jump over, or you're like, wait, where did that go? It can't have just stopped there. You need something.
What do you
like
say
that.
after that?
And I think they are funny enough, especially unloading the airplane when that thing just crushes them.
Bobby, if it weren't for us, this airline would never get off the ground. Ain't that right, Bobby?
Little jokes they do are funny. They are the highlight for me in a lot of Ernest movies. The little jokes they do together, they play off each other so perfectly. This loudmouth fat guy and this skinny guy doesn't say much. It's a great.
The opposite of us. Got him.
It is a funny thing, especially when you mark it off of Ernest, who is so over the top. In comparison to those guys, it makes for a nice team that is always welcome.
Yeah, it hints that there's other powerful beings in this world, just none that rival Ernest.
Yeah,
the most powerful.
Do you believe in Santa Claus?
For some reason, I knew that this question was going to come up.
Ernest singing "Oh Christmas Tree" sets up to the start of the movie pretty much, that is hysterical.
Okay.
Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree.
Okay, going into this, I'm like, Ernest is bad. You just like him because you were a kid. You're nostalgic. He's gonna get to the thing that you remember, and you're gonna be like, it's fun. I'm an idiot. It's funny or whatever. The first time you see Ernest, he's driving and he is singing "Oh Christmas Tree," where every line of "Oh Christmas Tree" is just "Oh Christmas Tree."
Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree.
That's how I sing songs, and it's so good.
It's so dumb.
It's not only, it's a two-part double whammy of brilliance. So A, it's very funny. So that on its own, you're like, oh, that's great. But it's also this genius thing where it's like, well, we don't want to have to pay for the rights of this song.
Okay.
Let's just make our own version. Oh, doubly good.
Yeah. But
it's so good. I could just
they let him get
suck the dick of this movie all day.
They let him get so far into the song and still be doing the "Oh Christmas Tree" part, and then it's fully into where the guy's like, "Hey man, stop fooling around! I have to get to the airport." And then that kicks off the first sequence. That's zany.
Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree.
Hey buddy, hurry up! I gotta get to the airport.
Oh, don't worry, mister. We'll make that plane.
It's great.
Yeah, Ernest, a self-proclaimed expert in everything. What is that saying? Like a jack of all trades, master of none. He's a jack of all trades, master of literally none.
Yeah,
but he knows enough to be dangerous in almost all scenarios.
Very dangerous.
And the man can give one hell of a speech when need be.
It's time to slit the surly bonds of earth and dance the skies on laughter's silvered wings.
Oh, brother.
Oh, no, he's inspiring. I don't have anything for that. But when he is making her breakfast, and he flips the pancakes up into the air.
It's time to put fuel in the tank and rubber on the road and reunite old Father Christmas, a close personal friend of mine, with his magic sack.
Yes. You know something's going to happen.
Of course.
But I timed it, and it's over a minute. It's like 90 seconds before those pancakes land.
How he got in my house when I was a kid because we didn't even have a chimney.
I suppose you have a theory on this.
Yeah.
So he's talking about Santa and life and whatever they're talking about. And you're just like, wait, where are the pancakes? And it takes so long. And it goes, and all the pancakes fall at once.
Christmas, Santa Claus, fa la 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 la.
Of course I believe. Christmas is a known fact. Millions of people all over the world celebrate Christmas every single year.
I have to imagine
So
there's
good.
a scene that they didn't have there where you would have cut up and they would have all been sticking to the ceiling. Because, like, I don't think it's that he's flipped them through the skylight and they're like, oh.
No, like a simultaneous artillery. He's firing multiple shells at different angles of incidence so that they'll all land at the target at the same time. Preventing the response.
I think it's something they didn't have, and it became funnier by not having.
Yeah, it's
the
funnier
footage.
if you don't know what the hell's going on. Then suddenly he grabs a plate while he's talking, and
And with my tracking skills, that should be no problemo from Brindo.
they just land.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
Ernest lives in like a junk shop in this one. Like when in other movies he has more like a Pee-wee's Playhouse looking house, and I like that a little bit more. But I've always been respectful of the Ernest houses. I think they've always been fun and cool. He lives in Florida now, so he's like a very Florida looking house.
I was just gonna say it looked like a house in Florida. It looked really shitty.
Well, he does live. Where are they? They're in Sarasota. They say in the beginning. I can't remember.
They say it. I have no idea.
Yeah. I know it's far enough that the girl's going to take a bus ride to Miami or a train ride to Miami.
Probably get you to Miami.
So they're in like meth country where Ernest lives.
Well, they're on like the northest bit of Florida, I think.
That's nothing. That's fine.
I think. If they're in Sarasota. Or I made that up.
I don't know geography. I'm an American. We don't know where anything is.
Can you name any countries in Africa?
God, no, who knows stuff like that?
Can you name any country on this map?
Yes. Africa.
That's a continent.
Oh, country.
So the basis of this movie is that Santa Claus is looking to transfer his power to a new Santa Claus.
Oh, you want to talk about the movie now?
There's a child, a children's host who recently lost his job, who is just the nicest guy in the fucking world, and is perfect to do this with. So that guy
It
has
was a long list, and I whittled it down just to you.
Through one way or another.
Your name was originally on a list with several hundred others. Slowly, for one reason or another, the other names were eliminated.
That guy's lawyer manager is
Agent?
like a fucking
Something?
douche, but he has like a really hysterical line where he like pulls up in his like fancy car, has his keys, throws them into a mailman's chest. He's like, park that one in the shade for me, will you, babe? Hey.
Like,
and the guy just
mailman's like,
what?
Oh, jingle bells, checkbook swells, big deals on the way. Hey, babe, park it in the shade. What do you say? All right. How you doing there, son?
Okay, Joe.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Because what that
It's
must take,
great.
either he is, I am so important, the mailman who works for me, I pay his salary, taxes, will park my car, or he's so detached from reality that thinks that is what, a valet looks like.
Park it in the shade. What do you say? All right. How you doing there, son?
Okay, Joe.
He should be clipping through a tree in Futurama like he's a mailman. And yeah. The conflict is that the guy doesn't immediately want to be Santa, nor is he immediately able to be told about the Santa gambit. Obviously, everyone thinks Santa's crazy. Everyone splits up, and now the whole the whole structure is we have to get Santa's sack, new Santa, and old Santa back together.
And the sleigh.
Before the end of the and the reindeer. We have to get all the ingredients back together so we can transfer the power of Santa Claus before it is snuffed out forever.
With the passing of time, the magic fades. It's recharged through the passing from one person to the next. I've got to make him the next Santa Claus before 7 o'clock tonight, or I'm afraid the magic of Christmas will be gone forever.
And I like that. I think that's a fun premise.
Yeah.
And he is imbued with like Santa powers that we don't really get to see him do much of because he's at the waning edge of his like Santa life. He doesn't have enough power to even do this run. So if he misses this thing, there is no Christmas ever again. Because where the power originally comes from, I don't know, but I don't think it will eventually find its way back to somebody else. I think it's extinguished forever.
No,
Matter cannot be created or destroyed, but Santa shit can. Fuck off.
No, it's this, and I love the premise. The premise alone, especially as a kid when I had time to think about everything like that, right? Lots of these movies do the whole Santa's real thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a clause involved that I don't really care for, but
it's the Mrs. Claus.
Regardless, there, the concept of like, well, Santa's not just this omniscient entity.
Yeah.
It is a title. You are the Santa Claus or whatever. You have to pass it down.
It's like the Phantom, if you will.
A bright, shining torch that is carried for a while and then passed on to another. If it is not passed on, the flame flickers and dies.
And that's what they do here. We're like, and he says, no, I have to pass it, along to recharge it. I have to.
It is strange. Like, he is 150, so it does let him live longer than average. And once he removes the power and gives it to the new Santa Claus, he doesn't turn to dust.
He's just aging very slowly.
I think it locks you in.
Age? 151.
Yeah.
At whatever age you were, and like you pop back out, like.
Yeah. He might be aging slowly, or the power kept him from aging. So as the power waned, he got older and stuff, and now he's kind of like, okay.
I like to think of it as the universe being fair. It's like, you gave this many years to help everyone on Earth. We're not going to take that off of the time you have to enjoy. You're retired now, Santa.
You're like in
Take your
stasis.
play money,
Yeah.
this librarian lady, and just go wild.
We should mention that the movie ends where Santa's about to get his dick wet.
So, are you doing anything tonight?
Not a thing.
A little bit. Some strange.
It's literally, he's like, well, I was Santa, but I'm not busy anymore. Perhaps I could deflower you. Yeah, this
I
old
do like
lady
it how
receptionist
she's
is
set
great.
up to be this nice old lady throughout the whole movie. She's alone on Christmas, closing the store. Well, I had no one to be with.
Oh, you're the last one out? Well, everyone else has families to go home to. I volunteered to stay late.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's wonderful.
And then, you get this nice guy. And honestly,
actually
if you're looking for a nice guy, who on earth could ever be nicer than fucking jolly old Saint Nick?
I don't blame either of them, but it's delightful. It's like a delightful note to end on, as opposed to like, well, it ends on something less delightful, but so delightful to end with her being like, well, are you doing anything? He's like, well, I think we're gonna do it. And then they do the old person like arm in arm thing, and they're like, no.
So you mentioned what it ends on, and that is a
Ernest Saves Easter teaser.
Yeah,
we never
teaser
got
for the Easter Bunny. E-Bunny.
Look, that is E-Bunny.
F.
And like, there never is an Easter Bunny one.
There shouldn't be. It's fine.
No, he can't do every holiday. But I understand at the time where you don't know where you're going to go. Yeah. And like, yes, presumably, if this is successful, maybe we should do every holiday. Ernest and a leprechaun could have been really funny. There were talks about an Ernest zombie movie with like voodoo zombie style things on like an island. I think he was going to win a vacation, but he tragically died before there would have been an Ernest resurgence. He wasn't even that old. I think wasn't he in like his mid 50s?
I knew you'd come back, Woody. Woody?
Oh, well, I know that he started to sound really bad when he got old. I don't know.
Well, he had cancer.
He was dying, so he started.
He slinky dogged. Yeah.
I gotta go. I'll be back. I gotta settle down before I can talk. I'm gonna tear this whole damn place apart.
Get all whatever. I just had a flash in my head of like Ernest and the magic lamp, where he'd be like outsmarting the genie with his wishes and doing all this crazy stuff.
I would bring him back.
I think you'll find I did not wish. And
you know those stupid Facebook things like, you can only bring one person back for a concert. You can bring one actor back for another movie. Ernest. I would bring him back, and I'd be like, motherfucker came back from the dead. Give me $300 million, and we'd make the fucking best Ernest movie ever made.
Is Ernest ever on those Facebook polls?
He should be. No, it's like Kurt Cobain bullshit. No, like Robin Williams, like people like that usually. Ernest. There's a picture of Ernest with Robin Williams.
This is what it's like back here. We're just hanging, fishing. Yeah, I'm just crew. We just rubbing elbows back here at these stars.
We're Teamster replacements. We're stand-ins for Teamsters.
One looks happier than the other.
Oh my God, that's like the sheer force coming together would like destroy the universe there. Get Jim Carrey in there, the entire rupture in space time.
Could you
would
even
destroy
imagine
us
the
all.
three of them like
In a
playing
movie?
brothers or something?
Oh my God. Well, no, Earth Girls Are Easy remake. Starring those three.
We bring him back, and he's bringing his three brothers.
Yes, it's a thing.
I want Jeff Goldblum in there too, though. Can we get that?
That's
to happen?
cameos. Yes.
Okay.
Or maybe they're old now, and these are all.
But Jim is young.
These are
and replacing with older people.
No, these are all their kids
that are older than they are.
CG makeup.
Oh, okay.
De-age them.
Gotcha.
They're also dead, so
Yeah.
we'll have to use CG to de-age them.
Air brakes.
There's a point when Santa is going to try to find his replacement, and he's at his house because he knows where he lives. He knows where everyone lives. How do you know where I live? I know your fucking house. And he just enters the house, and you're like, oh, Santa is breaking and entering. And then you kind of think to yourself for a moment, you're like, well, that's all Santa does. Santa doesn't ask permission. He's used to just going into homes. He does whatever he wants. That works.
Yeah. No, Santa also is not, like, he understands the concept of currency, but is not, like, familiar with...
why would he be?
Exactly. But that is honestly some of the most realistic stuff, to put those little spins on.
Yeah.
Because he's using play money, but he says, oh, U.S. currency.
This ain't real.
What?
This bill carries the likeness of one Mr. Funtime.
I don't have much use for currency, ordinarily, but I do like to have a little around, just in case.
Because you got to think, to him, he's a god. So it's like, there's all these countries and they have different money.
Exactly.
But he's so far and he's squinting at it, it all kind of looks the same.
Like,
and
could
he's
I tell you what
don't know.
Ukrainian money looked like? No.
Well, especially Ukrainian versus Uzbekistani.
Exactly.
You'd be like, I don't know.
No, so
It's the
like
same money.
that all works. He has elves, at least 2 of them.
You ain't got no reindeer, because we're saving them for a fellow named Helper Elms.
Helper elves.
I hated the elves. Did you like the elves?
I don't hate them because
You're smiling.
there's a time period where elves were done a certain way, and I feel like
Oh, you're
I feel like
nostalgic
that's-
for these
I kinda
geriatric
do. Well, because
progeria elves.
yeah, and I didn't actually look them up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, oh no, those are Lollipop Guild members. This is famous people or something.
You got an ID?
Something like that. I didn't look it up, but I have a feeling they give me a vibe.
Maybe
of like,
literally
I'm an actual
Lollipop Guild
actor.
people, yes.
Yeah, but
Yes.
nowadays when they do these things, it's like, oh, it's either CG'd shrunken people
Mm.
or it's just children, and I don't get that same like oh, it's Christmas like vibe as I do from like this like
It's Christmas.
Yeah, I like that. Them in the trench coats with the glasses, like you almost expect there to be more elves and all to be like doubled up trench coat people just
Right,
walking,
right.
but
then it
we
cuts
can
to
only do so
wide and
many.
they're just like barely
Yeah,
coming over the
exactly.
thing or whatever. That guy was funny, but that's really dated.
Why not? It's Christmas, ain't it?
Thanks, Skippy.
We just let anyone do whatever they want to do
He
at the
checks the
airport.
passport and he's just like, I hate this job, fine. But it shows him panning across like Hare Krishnas
village people,
and like a dude just wearing like a, not even a turban, like a chic looking thing or whatever.
I hate this job.
Right, which is sort of dubious, I find, in like the modern
well,
day or whatever. Kind
Yeah,
of a
for
thing,
now.
But yes.
Yeah, it was all people were like, those aren't costumes. I don't know why you think this is weird.
No, it's like an old joke, but
Yeah.
he's just kind of like, fine, let him in.
Also, it's weird, like Santa gets arrested for like, oh, he's a crazy person. He thinks he's Santa Claus. His ID says Santa Claus on it. Which we know is on him. And they would definitely check your ID when arresting you, especially if they don't think you are who you are. They fingerprint him and he's got fucking like his like fingerprints look like
I hated the
fucking
snowflakes in the fingerprints, but I also think
it's a little joke.
I also think that they assume that it's a fake ID, that he's not really Santa Claus.
Maybe
He's also 151 years old.
but like it would be a pretty impressive fake ID because it is a passport. Like I think at the very least your local police station is not trying to find like terrorists on that level. This is fake. Like you'd have to have a reason to believe it's fake.
Passport is it? A North Pole passport that he stamps in the U.S. or is it a U.S. passport? Why would he have a U.S.
I would
passport?
assume he's like the transporter and he has like just IDs from every nation.
Right?
Yeah.
We picture him gearing up and he's just like going over his racks of stuff.
What? Airport security, I have an unauthorized vehicle on runway 27 left.
Ernest driving the sleigh is pretty epic.
Oh yeah.
Just like that visual of just it zipping across
Well-
the earth and going into like fucking warp speed.
What's the problem?
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, like, the whole, like, on Dasher, on Dancer, and Donner, and like that whole thing, it becomes like a launch sequence.
Yeah.
Dasher, now Dancer.
Now Prancer, now Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Like, different things light up, like it's like Voltron, like, Dynatherms connected, interlocks are good.
And doesn't
it's
he
like
say
that.
does he say Blitzen wrong every time?
He says Donder.
I even memorized the names of all the reindeer, like Donder and Blister.
That's Blitzen.
Donder, that's what it is.
Instead of Donner, which I thought would have broken the launch sequence.
Well, I'm wondering if that is a mistake or not. Like, is he saying it wrong and that's a humorous thing for the Ernest character, or did Ernest himself, Jim Varney, get raised in a way where he like they pronounced the name wrong in the South, and that's what the script says.
I'll sign off on that.
I have to believe that.
Jim, please say it right. He's like, I am, or whatever.
Shut up, fool. You don't know Ernest.
He says them wrong earlier as a joke, and then he says all but one of them wrong at the end, and that's enough.
Yeah.
It's a tolerant system, the launch sequence for the sleigh.
Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder, and...
I forgot to mention it when we were talking about the pancakes. When he's making the pancakes and he does give her the things, and then he goes like, and he puts his hands down on the thing. Like, that's kind of like, not that funny. But what's really funny is right after that, there's a bowl, and the whole time I'm like, is that butter? What the fuck is that bowl? And his hands are horribly burned. He's like, just gonna get a lot of butter. Ooh.
I like him with a lot of butter.
I like lots and lots of butter with mine, don't you? Lots of butter. Ooh.
See, that's interesting because I took it the opposite way.
You like the burn.
I thought it was funny when he was like, and then he was just gonna go and then I like the butter kind of ruins it for me because why is there butter there? That's crazy.
It's he puts on his pancakes
for the joke.
That's a Southern thing. They don't refrigerate butter. They leave it in bowls.
I'm familiar with butter. My question is, why are there like 8 pounds of butter there for him to just go?
You buy it in bulk and it's cheaper.
Duh.
And he already said in words he likes a lot of butter, Lee. I don't know what part you're missing here.
I like lots and lots of butter with mine, don't you?
Butter helping his burned hands.
That's a thing people do.
Incorrectly.
No, but that doesn't matter. He's a Southern man. That's like an old Southern thing. Put butter on it.
Why are you denigrating the South?
That's a thing. I've heard that.
I've heard that too, on like a list of things you should never do to a bird.
Yeah, like rub a potato on it.
Merry Christmas!
Ernest, you are in serious need of help.
Like when you have a toothache and you just chew on a potato or something, yes.
We told him not to do it.
It's terrific.
But we thought it was a great idea.
When they're in the little, like the shipping facility and the reindeer's on the ceiling and he pulls out an umbrella, call me cautious, but...
Call me cautious if you want to. But better safe than sorry.
I didn't love that. I'm sorry.
I did love it.
That's the part that felt.
The only thing that could have been better is if there was like some police thing, like we're like, oh no, we're taking this whole facility, and then like just shit would have landed on somebody that was like the villain. It could have been great.
Up there.
Well, that's why he's cautious.
The guy from the Ghostbusters, who's like, you gotta shut this thing down.
Yeah.
On his face.
Dickless should get shit on.
Yeah, Dickless. Shit on Dickless. Speaking of like back to the whole Santa premise or whatever, I like that they get into the fact that like they're like, how do you do all this in one night? And Santa's like, oh well, you see, there's plenty of children who whose traditions do not honor Santa Claus, and so it turns into 1.7 billion. Like he has the exact number. It's
every child in the whole world in one night.
No. You see, many of them hold cultural beliefs that don't include Santa Claus.
It's not every child.
And for me, him saying you have to leave by 7 p.m. or you can't do it.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's pretty great too.
Right.
And I wonder, especially being at your first day, there wasn't a lot of handoff instruction there. Yes, he took 2 elves with him, but I'm not gonna lie, I love Ernest, but I think letting him drive is gonna be a mistake.
Is there anywhere in the book that says I can't have a driver for one night?
Nowhere at all. I think it's a fine idea.
I think it's great.
I think it's going to be a mistake.
I think this is the best Christmas ever.
And like he kind of butchered a lot of the gauges and the like. Oh, all right, the knob.
Is that it?
The brake, Bozo! The brake!
Yeah, the brake. Yeah, the brake.
It's broken. Oh, we got that over here. Like.
At one point,
know kids are all going to get the gift.
At one point, they're going around the Earth, and I'm like, is he going to reverse time? Is he doing the old Superman? It's amazing.
No, do you understand how that could have been amazing? Is if there's that big clock behind them, and you see it's like 1 minute 2 when he lands. if it was like, oh no, 7:15, we don't have enough time.
And then it cuts.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, my little gherkin buddies. The vehicle ain't been made that I can't drive.
Just going around.
And you see it tick, 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 ticking back down. Yeah. Jim Varney. R.I.P. to the GOAT. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
So, did you ever find your sack?
Yes.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.